And they throw it away. And there's the capper. And Russ is telling him. Russ is in Baisley's face, telling him not to do that. This is not going to sit well. Again, these two teams will play again next week at Staples Center. Shot clock is 3 ahead of the game clock. Russell Westbrook loses it. It's into Russ. Russ front court with 5. They're not going to foul for the tie. Not there with 1, and OKC comes into Staples Center and beats the Lakers with a 19-point comeback, and they've won the first 2 against the Lake Show this year.
What you just saw, and there is no other way to put this, was flat out embarrassing. This is a Los Angeles Lakers team that is supposed to be a title favorite. They're supposed to demolish teams like the Thunder, only they just lost for the second time already to a team that was picked by many to finish in the bottom 3 of the NBA this season. For the Lakers to lose to OKC in a horrible way the first time, then have a chance to redeem themselves and completely blow it, well, to me, that says a lot. And I don't care what the most optimistic Laker fan believes right now, I'll just say it, I believe the Lakers are in serious trouble, and yes, I understand it's early. Yes, I understand LeBron did not play in the Oklahoma City Thunder games, and yes, I get that the Lakers even have a winning record right now. They're 5-4. I understand all of that, but as you are about to see in this video, I also believe the Lakers' problems stretch even deeper than what people are talking about, and I'm beginning to believe that there might be some evidence that this might not be fixed. So what's up, guys? I'm Mike here. Today we are going to be talking about the Los Angeles Lakers. I'm going to be talking about this as unbiased as possible. I'm not trying to pile on the Lakers. I'm not trying to pile on Russ. I'm not trying to pile on anyone. However, the Lakers are a title favorite. They have LeBron James in what's going to be one of the last seasons of his career. He has to retire eventually, and they are playing absolutely horrible right now, so we have to talk about it. Before we do talk about it though, I do want to say please subscribe and turn on post notifications. We are on a grind here. I can officially announce to you guys that we are going to be doing 3 videos a week, sometimes with a news type video. The schedule will change, but as of right now, it's going to be Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday around 5 p.m. Eastern. That's when videos will be posted. So again, please subscribe and turn on post notifications. Also, leaving a like would be awesome, but let's talk about the Lakers. Now, like I said before, I understand that we are early in the season right now, but if there was one title favorite to be worried about, I think we can all agree that it is the Lakers. They had a huge overhaul to their roster this season, and with that, they added a lot of new players to their team, but they also added a lot of age. It was joked about before the season that the 2022 Lakers would have been a super team in 2011. They would have been a potential dynasty with LeBron, Dwight, Melo, Rajon Rondo. You get the point. Those jokes were funny before the season, but now I don't think any Laker fan is laughing. I think those jokes are only funny to Lakers haters, because that's how bad this team has been. Houston Rockets, another team that is supposed to be at the bottom of the NBA, twice. They've also beaten the Cavs, Spurs, and Grizzlies, and sure, the Cavs have looked pretty good. The Grizzlies look even better, but the point here is that the Lakers have not exactly been going up against top tier competition to begin this season, and still they have struggled heavily. Losing twice to the Thunder is a horrible sign. That is a team they should decimate. It's also a horrible sign to almost lose to the Houston Rockets, as on Tuesday, you might remember that this happened.
Lots of time, still 5.5 seconds. You got to get it in, though. You got to get it in. Picked up by Porter. Here's KPJ for the win.
If Kevin Porter Jr. makes this shot, the Lakers would be 4-5 and people would be even more worried. But really, other than the win column, what's the real difference in this shot going in or not? At the end of the day, the Lakers still allowed the Rockets to get a game-winning shot up when this is a team that the Lakers should brutally defeat. So what exactly is going wrong here? Well, for starters, I do want to mention Kendrick Nunn and Talen Horton-Tucker have been injured. To be fair, those are 2 players that are supposed to make a contribution to the Lakers this season, so I do expect the team to be better when they are playing. But to also be fair, are the Lakers really relying on Talen Horton-Tucker and Kendrick Nunn to make that much of a drastic difference to the point where suddenly these losses to the Thunder, these 2-point wins against the Houston Rockets, are instead 20-point blowouts? I'm not sure if I see that happening. I could be wrong, but really, if this team is going to win a championship, it is going to come down to Russell Westbrook, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis. And unfortunately, would you look at that, currently LeBron James is hurt again. again. And I just want to make this clear at this point in time. I don't blame LeBron James for the Lakers in general, and I don't blame him for getting injured during the regular season when he's this old. LeBron is currently 36. He is going to turn 37 in just about 2 months. The man needs some help, and that help was supposed to come in the form of Russell Westbrook. And I will say, again, this is not a hate on Russ video. Russ has, despite his turnovers, played okay, at least on the stat sheet. He's currently averaging 20.2 points, 8.4 rebounds, and 8.1 assists per game, and shooting 44% from the field and 26% from three. Not exactly the Russell Westbrook superstar numbers we've grown to expect, but still pretty good. The problem with Russell Westbrook, though, is he going to be able to change his mindset at times? Because Russ has received a ton of criticism early this season, and I would say that criticism is fully justified. When you look at a game like the Lakers' first loss to the Thunder this season, Russ shot 8 for 20, 2 for 8 from three, had 14 rebounds and 13 assists. Awesome numbers, but
hasn't been able to find over the first 4 games. Westbrook trying that lob again to AD. This time it got sniffed out.
Made his NBA debut on this same day as Russ turns the ball over.
Cut across the seam, throws it near the timeline, and Westbrook steps on it. Backcourt violation.
He also had 10 turnovers. This was a similar story to when the Lakers played the Memphis Grizzlies earlier on in the year. Again, Russ had pretty good stats, but he also had 9 turnovers in that game. Overall for the season, Russ is averaging 4.8 turnovers a game. And the thing is, and this is what I really want to emphasize here, this should be absolutely no surprise. Just take a look at Russ's career stats and you'll find Russ has been turning the ball over about this much since the 2015 season. And since then, from 2015 to this 2022 season, Russ has actually averaged 4.7 turnovers a game, just 0.1 less than this year. So when we talk about Russ adjusting to this team, when we talk about LeBron and AD and the rest of the Lakers adjusting to Russ, sure, I do believe that the team will get better. I do believe that there will be adjustments made that do improve them. I just want to point out that if you suddenly are expecting Russell Westbrook to turn the ball over a lot less, well then the ball has to be taken out of his hands a lot less, because that's what he does. It's here where I can give Russ some much needed praise. The man plays every basketball game like he is playing for his life. He's always going 100%. He's always putting everything he can into helping his team win. The problem is that sometimes going as hard as Russ does can be a detriment to your team. That's what we've seen with the Lakers this year, and I do want to point out, headed into last night's game against the Thunder, with LeBron James hurt, Frank Vogel said this. This is one of the reasons we all felt good about trading for Russell, is being able to handle stretches where we don't have LeBron or Anthony Davis better than last year. And I'm emphasizing these Thunder losses because they are very telling. Before I mentioned that Russell Westbrook is currently shooting around 26% from the three-point line this year. As we all know, that is not good. That is not a good percentage. And would you look at that against the Thunder, whose only 2 wins are against the Los Angeles Lakers? I would like to point out, on Thursday night, it seemed like Carmelo Anthony was hot. It seemed like Melo should have taken the last three-pointer, only, of course, Russell Westbrook took it instead. This was, of course, after Russ turned the ball over with 21 seconds left, a play that also cost them dearly. Melo almost bailed them out with a 3, and then we had Russ's missed 3 to lose the game. What's unfortunate is that this is kind of what you get with Russell Westbrook. You are always going to get someone who plays 100%. At times you get dominant play. At times Russ can be the best guy on the court, but at other times he makes bad decisions, and especially in the playoffs, those are gonna come back to hurt you. I mean, even looking back at the first Thunder game, coming out of a timeout with 31 seconds left, the Los Angeles Lakers were down by 3 points, and Russ, well, he again felt that he was the man that should be shooting the game-tying 3. Now, I understand this shot is absolutely wide open, and if the shot clock was running down more, I would say yes, absolutely take this shot right now. But if you're a man who's shooting 26% with this much time left in the game, with this much time left on the shot clock, the Thunder basically want you to take this shot. So I will say that the point of everything I'm talking about with Russell Westbrook is this. The Lakers knew what they were getting with Russell Westbrook. They knew that he is not a good three-point shooter. They knew that he was not going to be a floor spacer next to LeBron James and Anthony Davis. What they expected was a guy that was going to be able to win them regular season basketball games when AD and LeBron were out. The problem is, at this point in time, Russ has just not been that guy, and if he's not able to beat one of the worst teams in the NBA like the Thunder, still with Anthony Davis on his team and Carmelo Anthony having an absolutely great game, well then the question is going going to be asked, was Russ the right move for this roster? Well, that remains to be seen. And for now, let's look at the Lakers as a whole and talk about what else they could be doing better to improve their current situation. So first up here, we have to talk about Anthony Davis. And the thing is, something else we really need to be concerned about is Anthony Davis's three-point shooting. Now, for his career, Anthony Davis is actually around a 31% three-point shooter. And in his first season with the Lakers, in the season where they won the championship, he shot 33% from three on 3.5 threes a game. Then in the playoffs, again, they won the championship. AD shot 38% from three. His ability to stretch the floor was huge for the Lakers during their run. And I've got to say, his ability to stretch the floor is going to be even a bigger factor moving forward. Because as of right now, Anthony Davis is shooting 14% from three in 9 games. Now, of course, 9 games is a small sample size compared to an entire NBA season. However, last year, playing 36 games, Anthony Davis also only shot 26% from three. So I do think that this is something we need to pay more attention to. If AD starts knocking down shots at a much higher rate, of course, the Lakers are going to have better court spacing. The floor is going to open up for everyone. Everyone's going to have an easier time on offense. Even though AD is playing very well, he's averaging 25.4 points, 11.9 rebounds, and 2.3 blocks a game, his shooting from deep is definitely hurting the team. As for the rest of the roster, I'm not sure if I should be concerned or optimistic about the stats I'm about to say. However, the Lakers are currently 8th in the NBA in three-point shooting percentage. That is promising. However, they are only 25th in three-point shots attempted, something that I believe is definitely hurting them. And their lack of three-point shooting ability is something we all had concerns about heading into this season. Can a guy like Talen Horton-Tucker or Kendrick Nunn step up? Yes, but I think guys like Malik Monk and Anthony Davis on this current roster have to shoot better from three in order for the Lakers to be real championship contenders. I also would like to point out that I think it's very promising that Anthony Davis is actually playing the center position this year. I think playing AD at center is essential. In fact, I think the Lakers need to do it more. The problem with playing AD at the 5 might just be that Talen Horton-Tucker and Kendrick Nunn are out, which means that the Lakers have less guards and wings to play, so they've been forced to play some of their centers. But as of right now, AD is playing 64% of his minutes at the center position and 36% at power forward. That is currently tied for the most he has ever played center in his entire career, and the stats certainly do suggest that when Anthony Davis is playing center for the Lakers this season, they are a better team on the floor. Which, guys, brings us to the closing of this video, where I do want to emphasize, I am not in any way writing off the Los Angeles Lakers. I am very interested to see how this team plays with Talen Horton-Tucker back, with Kendrick Nunn back. I'm interested to see if the Lakers continue to play AD at center, if they play him even more at center, and I'm definitely looking out for Russell Westbrook. I just felt like this video needed to be made because right now the Lakers do have serious problems that need to be addressed, and if they don't address them, well then yeah, the age on this roster is going to be a huge factor. The lack of shooting on this roster is going to be a huge factor, and just like we saw last season, if nothing gets adjusted, the Lakers are going to be in for a disappointing season. As for you guys, I'm very interested to find out what you think down below, so make sure to comment, and remember, please subscribe and turn on post notifications because we are on a grind. If you're already subscribed, thank you so much for supporting. You're awesome. We all know it. And as always, have an awesome day, guys, and cue that music. If you're still here while the music is cued, here are 2 videos I think you are definitely going to enjoy. Make sure to click on one of them. Again, I know you're gonna love it. And other than that, have a great day and peace.